Alright, Manuel, I'm going to show you what you're going to get for your Canon DSLR cameras. This is the Safari camera control board, which has a receiver backpacker that's mounted on the top, and this can be removed, but it will need to be on there if you're going to use the remote PIR, which is this unit here. So your Canon camera will get connected to the 3.5mm socket that is on the board, and I have my Canon camera here just to show you how everything works. Now I've got my shutter cable connected to my camera. Hope you can see it in that shot right there, and then the other end of the cable would connect into the socket onto the control board. Alright, so for now I'm going to leave that unplugged. This is the HPWA Fresnel lens that I was telling you about that you will need. That will give you the extra motion sensor, which is on the board, which is located here. This is a base plate that can be removed to mark your location in your build case where you need to drill this 1-inch hole, and it also you can mark out the corner holes for mounting the for drilling holes to mount the board to the case. But just to run through how everything works, it's got 3 AA batteries that power the control board, and it's got an on and off toggle switch that turns power on and off to the control board. All right. When you first turn the toggle switch on, the control board is going to go through a warm-up phase, and I'm going to tilt it like this so you can see. Once that warm-up phase goes through, an LED will light up, and now that shows you that the board is ready to start picking up motion. Now it will not activate the camera at this point. This is just a test function. So see, if I wave my hand in front of that motion sensor, it makes that LED light up again. Okay, now this warm-up phase will go through a period of 30 seconds while it's looking for motion. Alright, and like I said, this is just a test phase. As long as that continues to detect motion, every time it detects motion, the 30-second timer starts over. Okay, so the board has to sit idle for 30 seconds without detecting any motion before it will be ready to arm the camera and start taking pictures. This is a test function only. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn the control board back off for a moment, and on the front of your remote motion sensor there's a button that you have to press, and that will power that up. But on the back, there's you need to remove the cover that's on the back, and there's 2 screws that need to be removed. This is the battery compartment for it. I've already have a battery installed in here, but I'm just going to show you that. I'll take those screws out. Remove the little door. And you see I have a 9-volt battery installed in here. Now the 9-volt battery is what's needed to power this unit. Alright, once you have your battery installed and you're getting ready to set everything up, you would press the button on the front, and it latches to the on position, and that will power on the remote motion sensor. It's going to take it a few seconds to actually warm up, and once it does warm up, then every time it detects motion, see if I can, there, the little LED on the front of it will light up every time it detects motion. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this over here to the side, and I'm going to turn the control board back on, and we will wait for that little LED on the control board to light up, indicating that it is in test mode, which it just did. Alright, so now if I wave my hand in front of this remote motion sensor, it makes that LED light up, and that's indicating that the remote motion sensor is picking up motion. It's sending a signal to this top board, which is a receiver board, to receive the signal from the remote motion sensor. Alright, the motion sensor on the control board will also pick up motion, as you can see there. Whenever I flipped it up and it detected me, it's detecting motion also. Okay, so I'm going to turn the control board back off, and now I'm going to connect my camera to the control board using the shutter release cable. Okay, now I need to turn my camera on, and I have it set to go to sleep in 30 seconds. So while that's happening, I'm going to go ahead and turn the control board on, and we'll let it go through its warm-up phase. And once that warm-up phase is completed, the LED on the control board will blink several times. So we'll continue to watch for that. I'll lower you down just a little bit here. Alright, so my camera just went into sleep. Alright, so now we're waiting for the control board LED to flash several times to indicate that it is finished with its warm-up test, and it will then be ready to make the camera come on and take photos. Alright, so the LED just flashed several times. So now if I flip this control board up so it detects me, it's going to make the camera come on and take several photos because I have my camera set to continuous shooting. Alright. As long as it's detecting motion, it's going to continue to make the camera take photos. Alright, so now I'm going to wave my hand in front of the remote motion sensor, and it does the same thing. It makes the camera take several photos. Now you could also set your camera to just a single photo mode, which I'm going to do now. And now every time that the control board detects motion, the camera will take just a single photo, and it waits for the next motion activation. Alright. And the same thing, if I wave my hand in front of the remote motion sensor, it takes one photo. So we can go back to continuous. It takes several photos. Wait for it to settle. Wave my hand in front of the remote, and again we'll get several photos. Alright, so that's how the control board works and how to connect your camera to it. Go through and explain how you put everything together. I'm not sure if you've ever made your own camera builds before, or camera traps. But the first thing is, with this remote motion sensor, like I said, whenever you power this thing on, the LED on the front is going to light up to indicate that it is powered up. Okay, and then every time that thing detects motion, so if we can get it to do it here, the LED on the front will light up to indicate that it did detect motion, and that sends a signal to the receiver backpacker. Okay, and that's what activates the camera to come on and take a photo. Now this LED on the front also is a low battery indicator. So if you ever notice that this LED just is continuously flashing, that's an indicator that your 9-volt battery inside needs to be replaced. Okay, it's just a low voltage indicator. All right. So now we can move that out of our way, and you can set that up whatever location you want it. Like I said, it'll give you a second point of motion detection. So we're going to move that out of the way. Alright, this is your Fresnel lens that needs to be mounted to the front of your case in front of the control board, and there is a proper orientation for it. I have it marked as top, so you know which is the top of the Fresnel lens. And it would be mounted on your build case. I'll show you one of my builds. And of course, this is not a DSLR. It's just a point and shoot camera that takes video during the day and still pictures at night. But you can see my Fresnel lens here, and it would be, if this is the orientation that your build will be placed, this being the top, then the Fresnel lens would mount, with that top in that direction. Okay. On the Safari board, it has a mounting guide on the bottom, and you can use that as a template to mark inside your case where you want your control board. Just simply remove these 4 screws. I'm going to do that right quick. Alright, so now you can take this little base plate right here and put it inside your build case where you want to mount your control board, and mark out the center opening and the 4 corners. And the center, you would need to drill a 1-inch hole, and I'm not sure what the size on these are, but you can figure that out. And that way you would have a 1-inch opening in your build case that your Fresnel lens would get mounted into. Okay, and you would have the 4 mounting screw locations around the perimeter, and you could go ahead and mount your Fresnel lens into the case. And what I usually do is I use some type of adhesive, waterproof adhesive, and put a bead of it around the back edge of this HPWA, and then when you put that into your case, then that seals it up so no water can penetrate into the inside of your case. Alright, so you get that mounted, and once that's there, then you can put your control board inside the case. And I'll open this one and show you. See, I have my control board here, and you would actually mount this back. Well, actually, you would mount this inside your case, run the 4 screws through it, and screw the control board back down in place so that everything is centered. Kind of show you this, and one that would seat directly over the Fresnel lens, and that ensures that the Fresnel is perfectly centered over the motion sensor. You'll see there's a motion sensor in here, then there's a day-night sensor and an LED bulb. Okay. Alright, so if you've never done one before, it's best to take your case and try to plan out where everything's going to go, so you make sure everything fits. Because the worst thing you can do is to start working on a build and you get your case all drilled and everything mounted in it, and then you go to close it and you have battery holders or whatever the case may be that keeps your case from being able to close up properly. So you need to do some planning, to make sure everything's going to fit properly and that nothing's going to interfere with anything else. Okay, so that's basically it. On the control board itself, there's 4 dip switches right here, and when I send this to you, all of the dip switches are going to be in the off position, and that will give you the control board will make your camera function both day and night to take still photos. You can change those if you want to. I'll send you a list. You could have this control board only activate the camera to take pictures during the daytime only, or you can set it to where it will take pictures at nighttime only. That's up to you, however you want to do it. I think you said you were going to be using it for day and night, so if that's the way you want it to work all the time, just leave the dip switches in the position that I have them set for. The control board operates on 3 AA batteries, as I already told you, and those should last for several months. Basically just all depends on how many pictures that you get, per week, how much activity you have. But normally those should last anywhere from 4 to 6 months, or possibly even longer. Just depends on how much activity you have and how many pictures are being taken. So that should be really all that you need to know. I know you said Lars is a good friend of yours, and if you have any questions, you could ask him. He's used my control boards, not this specific control board. He's used another one that I have, but they all work, the same way. Also, you can, if you're not going to use the remote motion sensor, you can just leave this board on. It's not going to hurt anything, but if you wanted to remove it, just grab it on either side and pull straight up. It may take a little wiggling, but that can be removed. Just be careful with it. You don't want to break off this little control board here, because this is actually the board that receives the signal from your remote motion sensor. And to put it back on, just simply line up the pins. One side has 6 pins, the other side has 8. Line those up into the holes on the Safari board headers and push it until it seats down all the way. Okay, so basically that's it. And if you have any problems with it, or any questions when you receive this, just feel free to email me, and I'll do my best to help you as much as I can. Appreciate your order, and thank you.